I think we are live on Facebook, and also for the sake of time, I'm gonna try and get us started now. And then we'll try and figure out with my team how to be live on YouTube as well. But on Facebook, we are live and we are recording the session. So once again, a warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much for making time. And a warm welcome to all the guests that we have today. We appreciate you taking time from your busy Friday to be with us. Thank you so much. I think others will join us as we go, and then we've opened it up to be live on Facebook as well as YouTube. So Sam, I see you're doing wonderful, wonderful work with entrepreneurs, and you are a certified business advisor. I think my first point of call is just wanting to understand maybe a bit of a brief bio of you and how you are navigating yourself in these uncertain times that we find ourselves in.
Thank you. Should I put a video on, or I'm
Yes.
okay when I'm hiding?
I think we want to see you.
Because I like to hide, so yeah, it's fine.
Thank you.
I think I'm there. Yeah. And hi, everybody, and thank you very much for having me today in this wonderful show. And thank you for inviting me, actually. Because invitations are scarce these days, and events are scarce. So, but when you get invitation, you have to honor it either way. I am a certified business advisor who started some years ago, I would say 21 years ago, having worked with different companies and having worked with Discovery Health. And that allowed me to learn a lot of things. When you walk in a company and you see this person who looks young, and you ask yourself, am I going to work here? And how did this person make it? So I, from that, took initiative to say, let me start my own business. Then I resigned. And when I resigned, then I just went off, and that was it. So yeah, I would say that the pandemic, it's not the first kind of a downfall in terms of business that I've experienced, because in 2001, if you recall, we had your bubble of your stock market in terms of your tech companies that fell, collapsed, a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And we had a 2008 recession and all that. But what kept me through is that the companies that I helped to build in 2001 when I started, because the intention was very simple, and which is very important to go that way, to say, look, you need to be decided if you want to start a business, to say, is this the course that I want to follow? And if that is the course you want to follow, you have to understand that come high or hell or whatever that can come away, you will stick to that business. So the challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs have, even now, is to chop and change. When you face pandemic or difficulties, you want to change the course of your business. So I see a business like a ship. If you have your ship that you say, I'm going to the US, I'm sailing to the US, you would imagine Christopher Columbus when he faced the waves and all that, and then he changed the course. He would have landed in somewhere in Argentina. But they did not change the course. So the challenge with most of the entrepreneurs is that when they face difficulties and there are pandemics, there are uncertainty economically, they change the course of the business. Instead of finding a new way of how do I steer the ship forward? How do I steer my boat forward? How do I survive in this storm? They want to change the boat. By the time you swim across to the other boat, the water would have swallowed you. So I stayed on course, and after 2008, and I have to mention this because, like you said, that how did I survive? And for me to be here today, some of the business that I helped establish some years ago were now established after 8 years or so. So I was able to walk into the office and say, hey, listen, there's a recession and I don't have income, so I want to work with you for 3 days. I will be with you for 3 days. what job can you give me? And then they would say, okay, let's revive our strategy, help us to restructure and everything. And then we agree as to how much you're going to pay me. And I made it clear that this is for 1 year or two. After that, when the recession is over, I'm going back to my business. And I did that exactly. And when everything was over, but also it's very important to understand as entrepreneurs that whatever you pray, I pray God anyway, the creator of the universe, who's bigger than the universe itself. When you pray and you follow his directions and his leads, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but he knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So with me, it was easy because after the recession and everything, when it picked up, the first clients that I would have was the government, GP and other governments that I would work with. And that propelled the business now to the next level. And I was happy with the levels that it was at, but I did not forsake the primary clients who are individuals that I've been mentoring and providing mentorship and all that. But also it's very important to understand when you are in your career, try to make sure that you fit into what are the things that you, what are the qualifications, what are the accreditations that you need to have, which is very important to say. If you're a business advisor, I had to find out which organization can I belong in. And then I came across IBASA, made an application, and then I was accepted. So I worked with them throughout. And I would say that it helped me because throughout, I was able to sit in 2 or 3 companies that I helped establish now as a board member. Because if you're a business advisor, you can't be a business advisor forever. There must be a time where now you have to come back, as a different coach or as a player or whatever that you have to do. So yeah, I would say that there are those businesses that I would have that opportunity. And fortunately enough, the businesses that I helped start some years back, I'm still in touch with them. They still call me, they still seek advices. And whenever they call me, I would say, hey, not a cold drink of, the police language, but a cold drink of saying, look, hey, Pel, I can't just sit down with you. We need to have tea, but I need to have some, money and all that. So it becomes more like jolly environment and exciting environment that I'm in now. And I'm more comfortable with the space, but there's a room for growth because I have to grow to the next level. I want to one day see myself advising big corporate that is commanding billions and billions. So, but the approach was very simple to say, let me build and grow with the businesses that I've started, the business that I've seen. Have I tried businesses myself? I did. Did I fail? Yes, I did. Did I succeed in some? Yes, I did. So throughout the journey, I would say that there were those situations where I would see an opportunity and say, you know what, this looks lucrative, let me try to go for it and something. But some of them did not work out, and some, yes, they did not work out, not because the businesses were bad, but the partnership. So it's very important as an entrepreneur to understand the kind of partners that you have in your business, because they can derail you, they can derail your vision, they can derail your plans. Also, the kind of employees that you have, it's very important because they must buy into your vision for you, for the business to move to the next level. So yeah, in a nutshell, which was very long, I would say that that is the story of my life. And here I am today, connected in a platform that I never thought I would be connected one day.
Oh, thank you so much. So I'm just gonna take you back to the part where you mentioned that sometimes entrepreneurs, they are not able to navigate themselves to do certain things better. Would you think that maybe it's lack of clarity from the word go, or lack of passion, lack of purpose or direction? What would make a person stay course even when there are challenges? What would make them to stay on the course to really pursue what they're supposed to do? Do you think that sometimes entrepreneurs are just jumping on wagons that they have no idea what it is? What has made you to stick it through even in difficult times?
I think that there are things that are common principles in society or in organizations or in a setup. And those principles are guided by a script. If you look at the Christianity, it's sustained by the book that it has. If you look at Islam religion is sustained by the book that it has, a Quran. If you look at Judaism, it's sustained by the Torah. So as an entrepreneur, you need to find what is it that you can define as your business and write it down. So hence the Bible says in Haggai, I don't want to quote the scripture, I might misquote it, where it says that write down the vision so that so that they can run with it.
Those who run with it.
Yeah, so it's very important that you need to write down your plan. I don't want to call it a business plan because now the young generation now is fighting so hard to say, no. Now we deal with business model, canvas, we deal with all these things, but it doesn't matter. Whatever you call it, have it written down. It's like when you want to sail across to the other side of the ocean, you need to have a plan to know how many kilometers, how many distance am I supposed to cover? What is the deepest end of the whole thing so that you can avoid Bermuda Triangle? So that is very critical. So writing down your vision, writing down your purpose, writing down your values, writing down your mission, your objectives, what do you want to achieve in the next 5 years? So if the storm happens in 3 years' time, you need to revisit and say, what did I say I want to achieve in the next 5 years? I'm now in year 3, here is COVID. Do I still continue? And how do I navigate to the 5-year period? And that is going to assist and to help you be able to reach to the other side. So very important and fundamental is to write down your plan. Don't just write it down, revisit your plan always. Make sure that always you keep on checking. Am I still doing what I said I would do? Am I still following the goals that I've set? Is my vision of my company still the same? And if your vision has changed, or if your mission has changed, if your values have changed, you need to revisit them and redefine them according to the market to say, am I still doing it? And also the product, you need to understand, is my product still relevant? Or do I need to add something? Do I have to develop it further? You look at a bigger brands like your Coca-Cola. I'm not advertising Coca-Cola. I'm not a fan of Coca-Cola, by the way. I don't drink it as often. But there was vanilla Coke. There was this Coke. There was this Coke. That Coke. That was a way of trying to say, how do we become innovative? And guess what? If vanilla Coke was successful in the market, it would have even replaced the current brand taste that we have. But those were the tests and the trials and the journey. So as an entrepreneur, it's very important to understand that as you walk in this journey, look at what are the things that I can bring in. If they fail, here is the thing with most of the entrepreneurs. When they fail in the initiative or the initiative fail, they see themselves as failures. You did not fail. It's what you tried to do that failed, not you. You have not failed. You can still carry on. You can still pick up. You can do things differently, but you'll keep on moving in what you do.
Because I think that's a continuous season of failure can be very disheartening to a lot of people, and trying to balance yourself between failure and telling yourself that it's the idea that failed, not me, can be a bit tricky to a lot of entrepreneurs. And then you also alluded to the issue of compliance. I think one of the things that we also noticed with COVID was that a lot of entrepreneurs were not compliant with the work that they are doing. And sometimes you end up missing opportunities because in terms of SaaS, you are behind, you're lagging behind. What would you advise entrepreneurs as they desire to scale up, as they redefine their products and pivot themselves? What would you advise in terms of compliance in the work that entrepreneurs are doing?
Well, there are compliances that you can get away with, like you being a certified or a professional, somebody in the field, because you can hire a professional to do the job for you. But there's one compliance that you cannot get away with, a product, because that is what is going to be used by somebody else. Whether you're a doctor or you are whatever, or you've got medical experience, you can develop a medicine or whatever the case might be. You need to look at the product itself first. Is my product compliant? What are the regulatory bodies that I need to belong to? What are the statutory bodies that I need to subscribe to for my product to be accepted? Do I need ISO? Do I need just a SABS number in South Africa that I can be able to sell my product to the citizens? And also, even if you have SABS and you know that you're not going to export your product, you need to understand what is the role of ISO. Will ISO give me some mileage in terms of the market? So those are the very things, because you'd find that you've got SABS approved, but now the terms and conditions or the regulations or the client says, no, we need ISO approval. And that will give your company some kind of mileage in terms of how your brand can be out there. But also remember, you are competing. You compete with big brand, you compete with international brand. And so it's very important to find ways to develop your product such that it will be compliant, but also you as an individual, how compliant are you in your field? If there are certificates that you need to obtain with regard to your industry for your business to stand out, or for your name or for your brand to be out there, you have to go that route. You have to follow those principles and see how you comply, but also your environment. Not only your product and yourself, the environment that you work in, your office, is it compliant? Your like now we talk about COVID. Imagine I walk into your office and I'm a client, I want to do business with you, and when I walk in, you don't have sanitizers, you don't have masks, nothing's happening. I'll just turn back. I won't even bother to come in because you're not compliant. You are not following the rules, the regulations. So compliance is very expensive also. We have to say that. So most of the entrepreneurs, they are not meeting the standard because of, there are some compliant that at a go, you just have to pay 20,000. Some you have to pay 200,000. Some you have to pay. So it depends. It's like if you want to start a bank, the compliance requirement could be 20 million or something like that. So those are the things that you have to bear in mind before you enter into industry. So research is very important, key, because that is the thing that will assist you to understand the industry that you're in, and also to understand not only compliance, but which department in the government is regulating your sector. You need to know that, so that when you face challenges, when you want to go international, you need to know which department is going to, I need to communicate with or to liaise with, so that I can be able to take my product internationally.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I think that was going to be my next question I was going to raise, that entrepreneurs often say that they don't have money to make sure that they are compliant. They would want to do certain accreditations, but sometimes there's not enough money. You then end up being stuck with products, and you have no idea what you're supposed to do with those products. And then it's like then money that is tied up in stock. So for instance, would there be any advice that you can give to people when they find themselves really without the money, but maybe they already have the products that they've manufactured, or they're outsourcing and having a white label? What would you suggest and advise entrepreneurs who are already there?
Precious, there is one thing about entrepreneurs, is that entrepreneurs focus much on money, whereas wealth, it's not about money, and wealth creation is not about money mostly. You can have all the money, but if you are not in good health, you can still be poor. You see, you look at a situation where somebody has all the billions, but is suffering from a sickness that they cannot be cured, and they pass away and all that. So what entrepreneurs should understand is that when you talk about wealth creation and starting a business and running a business, you need to look at all the key elements: your spirituality, your finances, your well-being, your physical, and all that. So in looking from that perspective, it's easy to look at your product and ask yourself, I don't have the money, but how can I get the product out? Who is my client? Who is my supplier? Okay, my client is maybe a big retailer that you can have out there. And you have to ask yourself, if I were to approach my retailer and say, I've got a product, my product is market ready, I'm not compliant, you have an enterprise development programs, can you bring me on board into your enterprise development programs? There are a lot of incubations out there that can assist either way, which are very empowering to small businesses. But don't get stuck into incubation that may not even provide you funding, where you train and train, after that you exit and there is nothing that can happen. So it's very important to look at different options, different alternatives. There are companies internationally that are out there looking for, let's say your business is about solving a problem in the green economy or energy and all that. And there are a lot of fundings that you'll find that are advertised to say, if you are into this sector, there's a funding for this, there is this so much. So what you need to do is that do not look in one source of funding or one stream of funding. You have to be very diverse in your approach. But also it's very important to say, as an entrepreneur, how can I, without money, but still be able to approach people? Somebody would come and see your product and is very excited and say, wow, I saw your product, I love it and all that. Oh, really? Yes. What do you think? No, I was thinking of starting something similar. No, you don't have to start. I'm giving you 15% of the business and all I need is 200,000. Can you put it in? But here is another thing. Most of the entrepreneurs, when it comes to that part, it's very difficult to value their company. So it's very important to know how much is your business worth at any stage of your business. You need to know, so that when somebody says, I need a stake, and you say, I'm giving you 15%, you need to know, what is that 15% worth? Is that 15% worth 40,000? Is that 15% worth 400,000? Is that 15% worth the money I need to go and buy the stock? Because that's where the problem is. A lot of people, they shot themselves on the foot because they sell their business, for cheaper, because all they were looking at is the money they need to do something. And by the time you want to replenish the stock, or you have bought the stock is not moving, you've got rentals to pay, you've got bills to pay, you did not negotiate for that money. You only negotiated for the stock because for you, it was like overconfident to say, we're going to sell the stock, you'll see. We're going to clear the stock. Hey, the market will shock you. You come with the stock, you think you're going to sell all, and you only sell 2 items, and you're left with 48 items. So those are the things that are very key when it comes to business. So it's very important to look at what approach can I use if I'm looking for funding, which different options and alternatives I can look for, or I can use to look for this funding that I'm looking for. And yeah, you can, where there's a will, there's a way, always.
So I'm largely hearing, I could be wrong, that research and development plays a very critical role at whatever stage a business is at, whether it's ideation or maybe you want to scale up or you just want to grow. It seems as if research and development is very critical.
It's very critical, and I'll tell you why. That it's not only for small businesses, excuse me, that are facing this challenge, even big business. We had a case recently where a big ship was supposed to come on our shore to supply us with electricity. I think they call it, I forgot the name, but I wouldn't even mention it. so the ship, everything, the bidder, they are the leading bidder, and the government said, oh, we're going to give you the award you the tender and all that. And guess what's standing on the way now? It's just a permission, a water right. And now the environmental affairs says, no. Yes, your Department of Energy has given you the permit or the bid. You've won the bid, billions of rent, but we cannot give you water rights that are costing. Probably to apply for water rights, it could be that maybe it was going to cost them 10,000 or less or so, inclusive, right? But now, guess what? The deal is there for billions, but they cannot, because the environmental department says, no, you can't get the right because it's not safe for this, it's not safe for that. So that shows you a simple case study to say, was enough research done before they could go through the process? So it could be that research was done, but in a limited form. There was an overlooking of certain areas, a gray areas that would maybe impede. So sometimes when you say to people to say, listen, you can do a research yourself as an entrepreneur, but you need to hire people, to get experts, to get people like myself. I'm not an expert, but I can assist to say which corners to look at. Did you deal with this? I'm able to assist you with a blind spot to say, did you see that one? Did you speak to the lawyer? Do you have a lawyer? Do you have a team? Did you sign the contract with this and all that? And that is what will assist you so that when you get started and you start selling your product, no one is going to ask you a lot of questions because you will have answered all the questions yourself. So yes, Precious, research is very key and very important when it comes to developing a product, starting the business, launching your product, and reaching out to the market.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I'm just going to open it up a bit to the audience. If there's anyone with a question, you are welcome to raise your hand so that it's more engaging, and maybe Mr. Derrick can be able to address some of the personal business questions that you might have. So please feel free to raise up your hand and get help. We have an expert here today. And then, so I think while we are waiting for people to figure out their questions, or maybe they are trying to think it through, I wanted to ask the issue of relationships in business as entrepreneurs, as we are growing. Would you think that it's okay to have relationships and to be able to be clear as to who our stakeholders are? I think the other thing would be, it's the issue of relationships, it's the issue of, it's just the stakeholders. How critical is that? Because I think also we are in a space where sometimes it's who you know, or people think that it's who you know for you to be able to get to the next stage of your business. Would you recommend strategic relationships to entrepreneurs? And also that would entrepreneurs be actively working on healthier relationships with people? Should it be intentional? Who are the key people that we should keep around us? Yeah.
Thank you, Precious. Fortunately enough, I was listening to Miles Monroe on that subject today. Little did I know that you'll ask me the same question. He was talking about the 7 steps of creating wealth. That you need these 7 steps. Number 1, you need to be balanced in your relationship, in your physical and all that, and then you need to be balanced in your money, but also you need relationships for you to succeed in business. Relationships is that, and he made it a joke to say, you don't need to have a poor friends around you, because when you're broke, they won't be able to pick you up. You are all broke, all of you. But also it's very important to keep relationships not only within the business cycle, but with your friends, because some of them would have opportunities that are out there that you may not know, and then they can connect you to bigger opportunities. And imagine you've got a friend, and then suddenly the friend relocate to the US or to Canada or wherever, and then they call you and say, listen, we need to import a particular product in South Africa, and the only person I thought of was you. So it's very important as entrepreneurs to maintain those relationships for the business purpose, but also not only those relationships, because a lot of entrepreneurs, what they do is when they get into business, they look for friends who are in business also, to say, I've got a friend and he's in business, so it's more like a business cycle and all that. And forget the friendship and the relationship of people that may be employed, because that is the buyer who will buy from you. That is the buyer who will place the order from you. That is the person who will call you and say, hey, I know you're an entrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur, you know that, but we are looking for this product. We know that you can assist us. So you need to balance everything, but just be careful that you don't get friends that would undermine you, those who would look down on you, those who would even shoot your business down, talk bad about your business, and gossip about your business and about your story. So you need people that you know that these are the people that I can trust. These are the people that are in my circle, and these are the people that, and we need to also understand that when you talk about relationships, you need to define it to say, is this acquaintance? Are these my friends? Are these my associates? Are these, so that you know how you relate with each one of them. Yes, business, whether we like it or not, it's about the people that you know. Who do you know, and how far do you know them? Because some of the doors will open by somebody. the sixth degree of separation. That says that it will take 6 people in your cycle to reach to somebody else. But today we can look at it and say how many degrees in the internet that we can reach to. You'll find that that degree of 6th degree of separation has been reduced to 2, because all that I would need is to subscribe on LinkedIn to be able to speak to a CEO of a particular company. And because I'm subscribed, I can reach out to that person. So it's very important also for entrepreneur to review and say, in my cycle of a relationship, who is still active, who's no longer active, and you'll be able to tell whoever is not active what could be the problem. But also, it's very important, Precious, that in your cycle of relationship, you have to ask yourself, who can I give out to? Because it's not about you sitting there in your chair and pulling back and say, I want to receive. Yeah, I've got friends, I've got connections, and because remember, you as an entrepreneur, whenever you get an opportunity, there is somebody who comes to mind to say, who can I give this opportunity to? Who can I talk to about this opportunity? And you are able to reach out also to other people, because business is about giving. And also as entrepreneurs, we need to bear in mind, we don't only give because now we have, this notion of I'm giving back to community. Before that, what were you giving? What were you doing for your community? So why would you wait for a particular moment to say, now I'm giving back to community? So giving to community, it starts now. Being involved, that's where we build relationships. Imagine when there is a crisis in the community and all the people go there, and that's where you meet and say, oh, where do you work? No, I'm a CEO of this company. Oh, yes, no, man, I'm supplying this product. Can we have coffee sometimes outside when we are done with this outreach? So that is another platform that you can build relationships, and you can also assist and grow your business, because that's where your next order is in terms of the business and the success of your business.
Oh, thank you so much for that response. So my next question would be, so I've seen a disparity between the academics or the academia and the entrepreneurs, where I feel the entrepreneurs, I'm a social entrepreneur, for instance, we become very attached, sometimes to the detriment of our organization and our efforts, and then you have the academics that are coming up with theory and telling you how to do things, but sometimes some of them, they don't have their hands dirty. And so I just want to understand, what is your feel between the two? That can there be a merging of the two, that the academics can have an appreciation of the dirt work and the boldness, the courage that entrepreneurs have, and then the academics bring the brilliance and so forth. That is in the case of where entrepreneurs or social entrepreneurs don't exactly have the necessary expertise needed. What would be your opinion on that? Because I feel like the balance of the two is what will actually help, because sometimes there's a disparity. Entrepreneurs are just jumping and diving, and then the academics are just proposing things, and sometimes it's out of sync.
Very true. And it's very important to understand that I may not be an academic or academia, or whichever way that we can put it, but I may be street smart, street smart in the sense that I may know much better than you do. But also we need to bear in mind that today we live in the era of information, where I can learn through online, I can learn things speedily, I can know something speedily, and I can correct you speedily and all that. So what maybe can bring the balance in this case, Precious, is that the academia, those who come from school and school thoughts, and they must know that also their professors are not agreeing in some of the theses and some of the findings. We have a lot of disagreement, is to understand that when you advise a person, you are advising, you are not imposing. When you come to my business, when you walk at the door of my business, as an advisor, I'll give example from me to say as an advisor, when I come to your business, I need to do assessment and evaluation. I need to understand where you are at. I need to understand what kind of advice do you need. I need to appreciate the kind of knowledge you already have. So what happens is that most people, when they walk into advisory space, or you call them to say, come in my board and be a board member in my company. And guess what? When they come and become board members now they want to search and say, who doesn't have a degree? What do you have? Who has that? What? Who has what? And instead of saying, look, I came to the board to support a vision of this entrepreneur. And even when I employ you as an academic, or I employ you to work with me with my team, respect me with the little education I may have, because I created employment for you, by the way. You are now getting something or earning from what I know and what I've started. And here is where the challenge is that some they end up even wanting to take over the businesses because they feel like, no, you're not doing good enough. You are not educated enough. I have worked with different people. I've worked with somebody who only have standard 6, but this person has got a good bank account more than I do have. I've worked so, but when I move into that space, you won't believe, I'll just call you boss. Yes, boss. How are you, boss? And even today, when some of them call me, I still call them boss, but they would say like, but Chief, you know so much. I'm the one who should be calling you boss. And some of them, you see, where we miss it, it's, I come to your company. We know that you are educated, or you know that, okay, this guy's got a level, a high level of understanding. And when I come to your company, guess what? You respect me so much that you even give me a chair to sit on. But when you do that, I don't realize that you're only respecting me, but you're still the boss in the company. I want to act like now I become the boss of your company, forgetting that I'm not a visionary in that company. Yes, I'm hired, but I'm not a visionary in the company. So instead of now bringing my knowledge to assist you grow and become better, I start to make you feel small and all that. So the balance is for everybody, for those who are not educated to respect those who are educated.
That's right.
Let's not boast about it and say, yeah, you see, I'm not educated, but I've got all the money. And here, look at him, he's driving, look at his car and look at my car. So we need to understand that we need one another. We need each other to exist. We need the skills, we need the theory, we need the practicality of things for us to sustain and to grow the businesses.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love the response. So it's in everything, there should be a balance. I think, Marisa, you had your hand up. Please feel free to unmute and ask the question or Ed.
Thank you very much, Precious. My question to Derrick is pertaining to the bridge between the formal sector and the informal sector. Here in Zimbabwe, I've worked extensively with the formal and the informal sector. And many a times the view to the informal sector is that it's disorganized. But being in the informal sector doesn't necessarily mean that it's disorganized. So for me, my question is bringing in the formal sector, and how do we bridge that gap between the formal and the informal sector? Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa.
Thank you, Marisa. I heard your question very well, and I like what is happening in Zimbabwe. I saw these electric bikes that you guys have for the farmers there. Very exciting. And I was like, can't we have this in South Africa? No, we can't. You know why? Because South Africa, we feel like, you know what? We are so upmarket and we need a tractor. We need this heavy machinery. We are not looking at convenience. We are looking at luxury. We are looking at all these things. So yes, you're right. When you look at the market, there are those that you'd say informal and formal, but there is one question that you have to ask yourself. What makes a business informal and what makes business formal? Is it about the registration of the business process, going through that, all the, the bureaucracy and say, I'm registered now and all that? Or is it about the person who's running the business in a formal and professional way? I may not be registered, my business may not be registered, but I may run the business so formal more than you who is registered, who don't even keep appointments, but yes, you are registered in the system and all that. And that is what brings a line to say, we have a situation where here is an informal entrepreneur according to the definition, but this person is very successful and wealthy. This person doesn't even have a bookkeeper and everything. But this person, when you say we need 40,000 now, can produce that money and give it to you now. So we need to understand that. But also, I think it has to do with consultant to say, do we respect people based on, oh, you are registered or you're formal or not? So for me, when it comes to business, it's not about whether the business is formal or informal. It's about the understanding of the entrepreneur. How much does the entrepreneur know? Because those who are formal, registered and everything, I'll give you an example with the security industry. A lot of guys who run a business in those industries, the only skill they have is the accreditation of grade C or grade B. Then you can start a company because you have experience in security. But when you look at the running, the administration part and everything, a lot of things are not in order. But guess what? Because they've got a guaranteed check that every month they will be paid 800,000 into their account, they're okay, and they keep on going. So the question of formal and informal, for me, it's about the entrepreneur to say, where are you? If I come across you and say, here is your business. Oh, yes, your business has been going on. How long have you been running the business? No, for 5 years. Have you considered that you can register the business? No, I've got problem. I don't want to pay tax and all that. No, you don't have to pay tax, but you have to deal with that. So we need to merge the two and say, how do we create the language of entrepreneurship, not the language of whether the business is formal or informal. And where we see the gaps in terms of the informal part of things and formal part of things is to say, how do we bring in close that gap by maybe making this business or register this business or making this business compliant. So for me, it could be, the difference could be compliant and non-compliant operation. Because whether you are complying or you are not complying, the common denominator is the money that we are all making as businesses. I'm sure that I tried to answer that question or to clarify on that, Marissa.
Thank you very much, Derrick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else with a question? So I think my next question before we begin to wrap up would be, we are working on awards that we have themed global awards. And these are for leaders, for entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs. What value, what added value from your vast years of experience do you think awards bring, and what would you recommend for them to have more relevance and impact for entrepreneurs?
Well, to start with, I would say that it's a great initiative that you've started in terms of the awards.
Thank you.
Something that a lot of people don't think that entrepreneurs just want that thank you from the community. When you bring the awards, all that you're doing is that you are encouraging excellence, because you already have your criteria to say, we are looking for this, we are looking for that. So what you're doing is you are encouraging excellence in community, but also you are encouraging that spirit of wanting to excel, to do more, to know that if I win this award now, and awards, let me put it this way, that a lot of people may not take them serious, but when you do business with clients and they want to know, what have you achieved? And you can show me a trophy. When I walk into your office, I can see, if you look at big corporates, a lot of them, you go into their offices. Mm-hmm. When you walk in, you will see certificates on the wall that says 2017, the best product of the year winner, 2018, the best company to work for, and all that. Those things, they work best for your company. So when there's an opportunity for an award, and there is an entry that you have to enter as an entrepreneur, a lot of them, guess what? They don't enter because they tell themselves, I'm not going to win. But here is the beauty about it, Precious, is that when you enter the award, let's say I enter the award Veronica is coming up with. Mm-hmm. Guess what Veronica is going to do? She's going to say the number of companies that entered for this award are New Discovery BS, this company, this company. I may not win that award, but when you Google my name, it will come up to say I entered for this competition. Yeah, you Google the name, it will say, oh, yes, Oh, you once entered a competition, you were nominated. And also when you profile your company, you may not have won the award, but you will say we were nominated for this award. When you are in top 10, you say we were in the top 10 category of this award. But what does that mean? It means that you were recognized or singled out or selected or appointed because of. It would mean that your company is much better, that you could be in the top 10. So awards are very important for any small business to grow, because also the big corporate, when they deal with you, they Google you. What do they come across? Oh, the winner of this award in 2021. So that lifts, or it kind of amplify your business. So it kind of put your business to the next level. So people may not even say that, oh, you are the winner. No, they've Googled you. They know already that, oh, that is the winner of the award. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So we can do business. But also what they are looking at is that because this person won the awards, it means that they adhere to corporate governance, they adhere to quality, because they were selected based on criteria and categories. So those are the things that are very key. And yeah, in closing on that one, I would say that I'm available as one of the adjudicators for the awards.
Oh,
Please.
thank you so much.
Because I don't want to put myself I'm not available. No. I'm available to serve in the community, but also I like the connectivity, because now I'm able to speak to Marisa from Zimbabwe. I can speak to anyone from any part of the country. So yeah, I'm for awards. I believe much in awards. I've entered a lot of awards. I did not win many of them, but I've entered many competitions. I mean, Recharge My Biz app, we did enter for MTN awards. And guess what? When you go and type Recharge My Biz, it would come up and say the one of the nominees, of the award. And even in our profile, we put it there and say the nominees for this award. So and guess what? There are people that when you say nominee, they are not sure whether you say you won. They just take it, oh, maybe they are one of the winners here. It's okay. And if they come and say, you said you won the award, they say, oh, go back and read. I said nominee. But yeah, it gives you that credibility and that kind of a value. It adds value in your profile. And that is all we need. And it's very important that as an entrepreneur and as a small business, or as a business for that matter, achieve something that will be worth recording annually. Don't be stagnant. Don't tell me the story of having won the award in 2016. Tell me, what did you win in 2021? If you did not win, what did you do for the community in 2021 as a business? That can be worth telling a story, that can be recorded and documented, so that when your name, your growth, your value increase according to what you achieve daily, what you achieve weekly, what you achieve monthly, what you achieve annually. That's how your value increase. And don't let a year go by. Don't let a week go by without having achieved something, without having done something. If you did not get the award, create an opportunity where you can give to the community. Call the media if you have to. It's not bragging, but you are giving and you want the story to be told. So that every year, annually, because if you have no story to tell as an entrepreneur, guess what? Google keeps on pushing you to the bottom. So when we search, you keep on going to the bottom. But the more you have story to tell, the more you have got something happening, you keep on being up there. When we search for a company, your name comes first. Oh, last week, this company donated so-and-so to this. So you become more like up there, and you keep coming up there.
No, thank you so much. So I'm gonna put 4 things in one as we ask you to maybe just wrap up for us. Your profile said that you are a friend of good governance. And then I saw the app that you have done, Recharge My Biz. I wanted just to understand how relevant it was, and also how we can also be a part of it. How can we subscribe to that? I've also noted that you also have like a course, I think, for entrepreneurs that you run. How can people be a part of it? And then lastly, there's a question here that Uile has. She's asking, besides marketing, how do you take your brand out there?
Yes, I would start with a question because the rest, everybody can get it online about me. Marketing is very key, but marketing is the core of every business. Now, maybe to answer the question is to say, everything you do, it boils down to marketing your business. In the community, you are giving to the community, be it that you go to the community, somebody's in need, somebody has a need, you meet the need, you buy the grocery, you take it to the family. Guess what's going to happen? They will talk about you. Everybody in the community will say, hey, Bula came with plastics, she came with, or he came with a baki, and the baki came and then they delivered the grocery, or they brought a bed to this family. You have done a marketing for your business. So yes, it's marketing. It's something that you do to the community, but at the end of the day, it's about marketing. You need to avail yourself to the media. If maybe there is any conversation that's happening in the media and you can contribute to the topic, make a call, give that call. But when you call, guess what's going to happen? Who was that person who called? Oh, they will Google and say, oh, it's the owner of this company. So it's more like emerge from the masses, come out of the sea, come out and let the world know about you. Let everybody know about you. Come out, because before people, here I am today. The first thing you know, it's about Ndzavi Derrick. You don't know which company am I running, which companies am I sitting at and all that. So it's about what content, and also carry the content. What message do you have for the community? What is the area of activism that you are standing for? So those are the things that can assist you besides just direct advertising and throwing yourself out there. In terms of the app, you can connect with us via the app. The app has been very helpful in terms of making sure that the businesses, we advise businesses on a regular basis. But the biggest app of them all is social media, which is Twitter, where anybody can ask questions via DM, can engage with me, and can communicate with me directly, and I'm able to answer the questions. And you can ask the question on the platform using hashtag #RechargeMyBiz or hashtag AskMentorND, and I'm able to come back to you and to engage and to communicate with you. It doesn't matter which part of the world you are at, then you are able to reach out to me.
And is it possible to put the Twitter handles, or I could share? Is it possible for you to share them on the chat box?
I think I'm doing that now.
Okay.
I've just typed it through, and then yeah, it's Ndzavi Derrick, and that okay. Here's the thing: that handle, it's for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything about me. So you can't find me on the other side. I'm Derrick MacGyver and all that. No, but also that assists me in terms of marketing, because whoever gets me in that handle, you can get me all the platforms. Then I'm the same person.
Oh, thank you, sir. I think Zani has a question. Zani, would you want to unmute yourself and pose the question to Mr. Derrick?
Thank you, Precious. It's not a question. I just wanted to say that we appreciate the platform, and sometimes as social activists, we don't take time to sit down and introspect on the value add that we bring to our communities. So it was very refreshing today to listen to this and be so encouraged from Derrick. So thank you, Precious, and thank you, Derrick.
Thank you, Zani.
And Zani, thank you very much. And Zani, as a social activist, you are doing a wonderful job. Social entrepreneurship, it's very key, and a lot of people don't see monetary value in it, but it's got great value in it, and there's a lot of revenue in it to tap into. And for me, that is the core of our business. We start there from the communities. And we have to find a way to say, how do we buy the market before the market can buy from us? So social entrepreneurship, it's where we buy the market before they can buy from us the product that we are having. Thank you very much.
I think we'll have to ask you to come again to unpack that for us, because that was too mouthful. I'm not sure.
This is my home now. It's my new home.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you, sir. It was such a refresher. really to have you, as Zani has said, it really, it gives a lot of us hope, because sometimes you feel like you are stuck. Sometimes you feel like, yo, what am I doing? So just having you, the years of experience, I think it just brings about the issue of mentorship, that I think sometimes we are stuck because we are not knocking at the right doors. So really, we are grateful as vessels of virtue, from the guests that came, that made time, and others that are still going to also view on Facebook. Thank you so much. And really, we are looking forward to having you as one of our adjudicators. We will send out the communique in due course, but we appreciate you, Seth. Thank you so much.
And and thank you very much. And also being a resident mentor, I'm happy. I'm here. So I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Audience, I'm here.
Thank you. Anyone with anything to say before we wrap up? We have a minute to go. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Next time. Bye-bye. Thank you.